What's up, everyone? This is episode 4 of Hustle Guru. Bite-sized interviews with young, up-and-coming Chicago founders, business leaders, visionaries, and change makers. Today, we're going to be talking to Oliva Glowacka, founder of Derive, a travel management and social media app for business travelers and travel enthusiasts. Let's get right into it. So, Olivia, can you give us your background in startups, and besides Drive, is there anything you've done in the past?
So I knew I wanted to pursue something in business, but I never really knew what part of business. And then I had this friend who was a year older than me in school, and he was also Polish, and he was a successful entrepreneur. So he started a Minecraft server when he was younger, and then he had different startups growing up, and he got to move out at 17 and things. And so I thought that was really interesting that he could begin something like that so young, and then just have the ability to be financially stable and do what other people weren't doing. And so then my school, they got this new curriculum based on the Lean Startup method called the Incubator EDU. And so the second year of that, I decided to be in that incubator. And from there, it was kind of like a class, so anyone could be in it. But we had to come up with an idea, and so I created a concept for Derive Travel Experience. And that's the only startup experience I've had since then.
What is Drive? Give us the pitch version.
So Derive Travel Experience is a social media and travel management app for business travelers and travel enthusiasts. So basically there would be a couple of features for before and during your trip on how to just have a better trip, adjust to the jet lag, among other things, and get different promo codes for different travel essentials. And how it's a social media is that you can connect people that just went to the same places you're going to with the same interests as you to basically talk with them and get suggestions on places to visit. For example, if you're in Paris, sometimes waiting in line for the catacombs can be 3 hours, and you can go and find out that you actually didn't enjoy that as much as visiting something else.
That's a long time.
Yeah, so if you have the same interests as them, then you kind of get a more personalized feel of where to go.
So how did you come up with the idea for Drive, and what's the problem you think Drive is going to solve?
Okay, well, I'm 100% Polish, so every summer I'd travel to Poland for 2 to 3 months, and so with that, there's a 7-hour time difference, so I would just spend the whole week being really tired and falling asleep constantly versus spending time sightseeing or being with my family. So that's one of the problems, and also just the different process of packing and just getting ready for the trip, especially packing for 2 months, not knowing what to take. And then also I've always had friends internationally, but I know some people haven't, and that's something that people want to make connections all over the world, helps them out in the future, and it's good to have friends.
As of now, where does Drive stand as a business, and what do you think will be the next steps to really getting it off the ground?
I had a co-founder, Anna, like I mentioned, and so she isn't working on it anymore, so I'm looking to build a team, come up with or find other people that want to work with it. Also, I'm in a competition called Celebrating High School Innovators, so that basically is in Southern Illinois, 2 to 3 hours away from here, so we have different events with other high schoolers, with startups. For example, we went to the ISU Startup Showcase and judged them, and so we also have mentors helping us, and so I'm competing with that, in that potentially for scholarships, but also I just attend different events all over Chicago, Today at Apple, and because of those because of those 2 things, I decided to build my app mockup, but even further and more interactive. So I built it through Envision. And I just try to go to as many events as I can find and try to get people to help me and just take advantage of the opportunities I get.
So you just talked about looking for a team. If anybody watching the video is trying to join some kind of startup, what kind of team members are you looking for? What do you think Derive needs?
I would say I'm looking for anybody who's as passionate about entrepreneurship and as driven as me. So whether they're a teenager or maybe in their 20s or 30s, and obviously ideally I'd want someone who knows how to code, because right now I'm learning Swift, but I don't know much other than that. Also, I have a website called www.travelwithderive.squarespace.com. Yeah, I also have an Instagram for Derive, it's Travel with Derive, and a Facebook, Travel with Derive. Personally, my email is oliviaglowacka@gmail.com.
You talked to me about how you're trying to start a incubator for teenagers in Chicago with 1871. That's really cool. Can you talk more about that?
First, to Today at Apple event that I went to. Afterwards, I talked to one of the people working at Lime Ride about basically like me being really interested in 1871, but you have to be like 18 to have a membership, and there's not really like anything there for like teenagers. The guy I was talking to like instantly asked me like, would I want to come up with an idea for like an incubator for teenagers? So I'm like, okay, yeah. So we looked at like what the issues would be with it. We want to like see having in Chicago, because I know that that's definitely something that would help me, but I know also like there's like a lot of young entrepreneurs in Chicago that don't really know where to go to like seek resources.
Finally, what's your long-term vision for Drive, and what do you think are your future plans personally with startups, and how do you see Drive working out?
So potentially I'd want to like start working on it even more like in the next couple of months, like before I go off to college, because I'm a senior. So like if it doesn't happen here in Chicago, then I definitely think I'm gonna talk to my friends like that are going to my college also, and we're gonna like start working on it there. Yeah, potentially I'd like to get like a team and like to get like seed funding and just make it into like this large platform, as large as basically like Snapchat or Instagram, but more targeted towards travelers. Yeah, over the summer I'm also like either want to work on that or like want to intern at a startup like in Chicago or in SF, or be part of like an incubator.
Cool. This was episode 4 of Hustle Guru, here with Olivia Glowacka with her new travel startup Drive. See you guys next time.